Who has a 100-word summary of the trouble you guys got into last week?
I was trying to get there, but I just... God
I'm
damn
sorry.
it, Brickred.
I'm making
You
mac
just
and
said
cheese
like-
during our break today, is all I'm saying. That's happening.
So, what happened was, we started to dig around in this castle, finally, after kind of systematically taking down the towers. We went inside, and we met this very nice, that we don't know is an Arcanalot lady. And she's like, "Oh, you haven't broken anything I can't fix. It's fine." And she said, "Okay, try to make it to where I am, and we can talk for realsies."
So,
And,
right off the bat,
and-
just
Go ahead.
we all took that you haven't broken anything that I can't fix yet as a challenge. So, at least I did.
so we end up meeting the meat tornado. That was fun.
The meat NATO.
The meat NATO was
The
good.
meat NATO, yes. The meat NATO, yes.
So,
I
like,
am assuming Arcanaloths are not monsters we meet in our land, right?
Arcanalots
Same.
are not traditional monsters at all.
That's why, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I know Curse of Strahd has a dungeon
Da, da,
where...
da, 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 da. I'm sorry, spoilers, Bricker, and I'm playing through Curse of Strahd now.
Well, you put 2 and 2 together. I've already... Okay, there are no Arcanalots in Curse of Strahd whatsoever.
Curse of
Wait.
Strahd has a dungeon with Arcanaloths that are your best friends,
Okay.
and you go on adventures together.
Yay!
You go.
Nobody tell McDohl that Strahd is the vampire.
No, the vampire is Strahd's monster.
Well done.
Nodal, you ran it or played in Curse of Strahd? I forget, one of the two, right?
I ran it for a short period of time.
I'm gonna take my headphones off.
I'm not gonna spoil it. Oh my god. That is the worst part of PC culture, is people are overly sensitive to spoilers. The worst part, by far.
yeah, the darn player characters.
Right? Dumbledore dies at the end. What happened at the end of last session that was important? Does anybody remember?
All the doors are
End of the
locked.
session? I think we went up some stairs and ran into a little girl.
That is what happened.
That's right. That is yes.
I thought you
correct.
took your
We
headset
just-
off.
I took it off for a moment, okay? Bricker, please.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah, probably also never watched the movie John Dies.
That was a pretty bad movie.
It was
I mean,
okay.
that's based on a book, isn't it?
The books are
Yeah,
good.
that was pretty good.
I enjoyed the books a lot.
Books. There's more than one.
Oh yeah, he made his... Well, kind of. Yes and no. It's more complicated, and we're not going to get into it right now.
That's fine. I just didn't know there was more.
Short
than
answer,
one.
yes. There's more than one book.
All right.
So
we
Adrex
just-
came into this room
Yes.
and ran into a little orc girl wearing, obviously worn, but clean and well kept breeches, tunic. And you can't make out the color in it's that faded, but the tunic has what looks like heraldry on it. A bell on a checky field. And heraldry is not something that you are all familiar with in your daily lives. It's mostly something that you would know as what the Southlings do beyond the wall. They have traditions of heraldry where their noble houses pretends like they're magic swords or ferocious animals or whatever, and they've got big flags and it's all on their shields, and they're always very, very proud of them. And to see an orc wearing any kind of heraldry is ridiculous, and this far north it's even more ridiculous. This little girl is hunkered down by the hearth in this wall. The hearth itself is not lit. She does not have a big roaring fire going. What she has instead is just a tiny fire built, maybe in a bronze pot or an urn. And it looks like she snuck up some food. that she is cooking over this fire. And you can smell the tangle of burnt flesh. And all she does, Adrex, is her eyes go wide when you step in, and she holds her fingers to her mouth and shushes you, and then cocks her head slightly to the left at this door. And that's where we left it off.
Yeah.
I also recall she hit Adrex with a stick.
She did do that, yes.
She definitely did.
She had a held action when Adrex came to the door. And Adrex, looking at it now, the stick is now laying on the ground in front of her where she retreated. And it's definitely a stick, but it's a very particular kind of stick. Like if you were training somebody in swordplay, you would want to start with a stick like this. It's straight and strong, and it has a twisty bit at the end, which you might be able to mistake for a crossguard. Somebody selected this stick very particularly. You could be out in the woods for hours before finding a stick this as well suited to this purpose.
Young girl, how is it? Is she in double digits or?
I don't know how up on orc physiology Adrex is, but child, prepubescent.
Okay.
Young girl.
I'd invite her to swim in my macaroni pool. No, I wouldn't. She's an orc. That's gross.
Adrex looks at the door.
Mm-hmm. Which door?
She's the one she pointed to.
Okay.
And makes a face as if though he is being shushed.
You are being shushed.
But agreeing with it.
Okay.
Like, okay.
Birdie goes, "What?"
And you see her back goes shock straight when you hear Birdie cry through the door. And you finally remember the 3 or 4 sessions where he wasn't allowed to talk.
So peaceful, so quiet. Nothing bad ever
Adrex
happened.
lets out a loud shush.
Birdie clamps both of his hands on his mouth.
And she whips the stick up from the floor, and you see she's holding the hilt of it with both hands at the ready, waiting for whatever made that noise to come through the door.
Adrex gestures everyone inside.
Raazu sighs, rolls her eyes, and walks in.
Okay.
I'm hiding underneath it, Raazu, when I come in. I saw that stick hit Adrex. I ain't getting beat with no stick.
You can dodge before you enter the room.
Take the dodge action, yeah.
Okay, and you guys enter the room, and again, the little orc girl in the room with the stick at the ready. And she seems surprised at how many of you are filing in.
After just the right amount of awkwardness, Adrex was, "Why are we shushing?"
In what language?
Orcish.
In Orcish.
Adrex knows Orcish.
You see recognition on the girl's face, like she's heard the language before, but she clearly doesn't understand it.
Why are we shushing? I say that in horseshit.
Raazu, what are you doing? You're the one standing closest to the girl at this point.
Oh, is she still gesturing to the door back here?
Right now, she's holding her stick in both hands and eyeing you very skeptically. Because you're an enormous hobgoblin, and she's very small. But she does have this ferocious stick.
Raazu has absolutely no aggressive posture, and she's pretty placid right now. But she looks at Adrex. It's like, what are we doing here?
Adrex puts a finger to his lips. Shh.
Okay, Raazu nods.
Adrex will ask in common this time, "Why are we shushing?"
And you see again that she kind of recognizes the language but does not speak it.
Yeah, I'll repeat it in common, but in monk.
Wendy, as you open your mouth, you hear a booming voice from behind the
damn it.
door,
Never get to ask.
which Red understands, because I think he's the only one who speaks Southling amongst you. And
Oh,
it
red. Yeah.
booms out in the Southling tongue. And it's demanding to know, where is his wine? And at that, the little girl jumps. Her stick clatters to the ground. She spins around. Next to the little urn that she has this small cook fire burning away in, she throws aside a cloth where you see that she had a mug sitting underneath. And she takes it up, steps over and puts her back to the door, and watching all of you, she motions with her head to this side of the room.
Raazu nods and steps out the door.
Yeah, I'll move over.
And you all hear the door creak open and then click shut. You hear the booming voice again, indistinctly now, no longer yelling, so you can't make out exactly what is being said. And after a few moments, the voice subsides. Then after maybe 4 or 5 minutes, Adrex, you see the door open again, and the little girl emerges, closes the door behind her. I don't have Photoshop open. That's what I don't have open. I don't have my map available, so I have no idea where you guys are. And again,
We're in the room with all the treasure.
In the room with all the treasure.
The magical treasure, not the gold.
Not the crappy treasure.
Not the trash treasure, yeah.
The adventure that we just played was one of the ones out of Yawning Portal, and it was really funny because we beat the big dragon boss at the end, and we got his horde, and his horde had like a bunch of healing potions in it. I was like, what do we need these for? Adrex, she steps out of the room, and she no longer has the mug. She steps out, reaches down, picks up her stick off the floor, and she motions again with her head to the right side of the room, towards the door.
Adrex shrugs and heads on out.
And she joins you at the doorway. She steps through and closes the door behind her, but not all the way. Just so it's open a crack, which is the state that Adrex had found it in last week. As she turns back to all of you, and speaking still in a low voice, but not quite a whisper, in Southling, she asks if you're all heroes. And there may be a tinge of contempt in the question.
Well, Adrex can't speak Southland.
Sometimes.
Like, what'd she say?
She asked if we're heroic.
No, I'm a kobold.
It's literally heroes, actually, would be the closest.
She says that Sir Caiston is always going on about how dangerous heroes are and how they must always be aware that they might come to the keep.
Sir Caiston sounds like a jackass.
Wendy, when you say that, you see the little girl swirl up her face for a moment, like she took offense to that. But after a moment, it softens, and she says, I think he's just afraid. I think he's afraid the heroes have come here to kill him.
Is he a villain?
She says that Sir Caiston will know if she speaks ill of him, and that no good squire should speak ill of their knights.
Oh, well, we wouldn't want that. Is he teaching you how to use the sword, then? And Wendy will nod towards her stick.
And she looks down at it, and you can sense that, like, this is something that maybe she takes pride in, but then you guys walk in with all of your actual real weapons, and she kind of sheepishly hides the sword in her hand, one hand behind her back. And she tells you that Sir Kasten has been teaching her to write and to do sums, and she can name all of the great houses of the south, Elvish and Dwarvish, and some even Gnomish.
Well, those sound like useful things to know. Has he been doing right by you then?
She says that Sir Kasten always tells her daily that it is not right and proper for a knight to take a girl squire. But she's all that was available. And once he finds somebody more fitting, he's going to put her to the sword.
Oh,
Roger
so here's
that.
the thing. Sir Kasten sounds like a jackass. And I'm gonna have to kind of, like, run through for the others. Which must be very odd for her, because it sounds like I'm just repeating exactly what she just said.
Birdie starts digging in his pack.
And as you guys are doing this, she's looking around, and she says, "But none of you can be heroes. Surely." She says there are no elves or dwarves or men amongst you. There's the... She regards Birdie for a moment. Says, "Sir Kasten calls your kind little dragon turds."
Birdie doesn't understand what she said, so he just keeps digging. He's in his pack up to the waist, like just down in there, just digging something on the bottom.
"And you don't have any eyes. How can you be a hero if you cannot see?"
That just makes everything she does more heroic.
And Whitney will kind of...
Raazu, make an insight check.
Yeah, that's something doesn't seem right here.
Well, you can't understand what she's saying, so just go ahead and make the check. I mean, wait, what doesn't seem right in the crazy undead castle?
A lot of things don't seem right. Let's be honest here. That's unfortunately only a 7.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna blip that. Never mind.
Okay.
Just never mind. Never mind.
That's life as McDohl.
I know, right? Well, yeah, McDohls don't do those things. Yeah.
She says that if you're here to kill Sir Kasten, but you're not heroes, then you must be murderers.
Well, we didn't come here to kill Sir Kasten. We weren't even aware he was here. Why are you here? How did you get through the lightning?
She tells you that she was raised here.
Huh. And I'll repeat that over to Red. Did you hear about anything like that?
No, not that I'm aware of.
How do you make your way around? It seems very dangerous here.
She explains that the castle is usually empty, except for the patrolmen, who don't mean her any harm, but she tends to avoid nonetheless. Typically, her tasks keep her... she basically describes the paths between here and the kitchens downstairs. Very rarely does she have any cause to go anywhere else.
What about the jackal woman? Ask her about the jackal woman.
Alright, and I'll repeat Raazu's question for her.
She says that Daedra Dyad does not speak to her. She's just a lowly squire. Why would she have cause to speak with her ladyship?
And I'll just tell her, Daedra Dyad wished to speak with us, but the way downstairs seems locked. Do you know anything about how we would get through there?
She says that to open the locked doors, you have to know the passwords.
Do you know the passwords?
And at that, you see her whip her stick back out from behind her back. She said that she would not be doing her squarely duties if she gave her passwords to murderers.
Well, we
Birdie
haven't
goes-
killed anyone.
Birdie yells, "Aha!" And he's holding up a Tinker toy.
Okay.
And he hands it to the little girl. It's a donkey that when you push down on it, it flips.
Do you demonstrate this for her?
Yes. And then I hand it to her.
Roll initiative.
Well, here we
Can't
go.
believe that donkey's gonna kill us.
Yeah.
This is the end of the campaign. The donkey kills everyone.
It's a donkey that when you press down on it, explodes with the force of a nuclear bomb.
Where's the Raazu? There's the Raazu.
Oh, everybody's rolling
There's the
initiative. Okay,
Raazu.
I mean that's fine.
Oh,
I mean, you said roll
I thought
initiative, so
Yeah, right, isn't?
Oh.
It's pretty obvious to me that it was just going to be Birdie.
Birdie, you set your little tinker toy on the floor, and it does a flip. And it's perhaps because of your just natural swiftness in all things, or perhaps it's her inexpert use of this weapon, but you see her rear back, and you can tell that she's going to slash down and slay your donkey.
Birdie snatches the donkey.
Use your reaction to snatch up the donkey.
Right.
And there's a slapping sound as her stick hits the floor, and she looks stunned at how quickly you moved. What's your reaction to this?
I'm gonna put the donkey back down on the ground and push it down again to let it do another flip.
She used up her action. Now the donkey is safe.
And she tries to save face. She says that she knows that that's just a child's toy. It's not really a monster. She's not afraid of it, in other words.
Well, Birdie pushes it towards her. He picks it up and hands it to her.
Oh, she doesn't take it.
If you did think it was a monster for a moment and you attacked it anyway, that's pretty respectable. Personally, most people run away from things they find frightening.
Well, and that Birdie's still just holding it out to her.
She says that over the years, Circassian has known many heroes that have run away from this place, that have come here trying to take the treasures of the keep, or to steal something of the ladies. She's never known any... she's never personally known any of this to happen. She's too young to have seen a lot of this.
What's Circassian's job here?
She says that Circassian is the lady's knight. He is her captain at arms. He is... She rattles off some titles like that, Southling titles that don't properly mean anything. But he also calls himself the Slayer of Heroes.
How many heroes has he slain?
She says, truth be told, she hasn't seen him slain any, but she has cause to believe there have been hundreds.
Is the cause because Circassian said so?
She nods.
And I'll look over at the others.
So wait a
And
second. You're surprised that there are 5 of us. How old is he?
How old is Circassian?
Yeah.
She has no idea.
Oh, okay. Because if an average of 5 heroes a year were to enter the keep, then he's slain hundreds. Like, if anything, I think you should be expecting more of us.
She says that she doubts many of them were true heroes. Most of them are probably just murderers and thieves like you.
Alright, well. Let's not be hurtful. We haven't killed anyone yet.
Little lady, you're being rude. Translate that for me.
Ray just sort of shrugs. I mean, she's not wrong.
As she keeps telling you guys that you're thieves and murderers, but she doesn't seem perturbed by this fact.
Uh-huh.
She doesn't seem to be disarmed by it. It's just...
so
She's just repeating what she's been told.
So what are you told to do when you do encounter thieves and murderers, as you so put it?
She says she's
Please translate.
instructed to... I'm making an assumption that translation is happening, unless Red specifically says otherwise.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
She says that she's instructed to run upstairs and immediately wake Sir Caiston if he's asleep.
Only
And
if
yet
he's
you're not
asleep.
doing that right now.
He sounds awake.
She says that Sir Caiston insists that he's asleep when actually he's in his cups, which is the case today. And so she asks,
How long have you? How long have you been working for him? How long have you been his squire?
and she thinks for a moment, and she tells you she's never not been his squire ever since
Raazu
she
has
could
a very-
walk and talk.
Also has a very disapproving look when she does mention that he's in his cups and says, seems very derelict in his duty then if he's supposed to be guarding this place. And,
Didn't you literally buy a pound of heroin?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not.
That's part of my religion, man.
It's not that's neither here nor there, Brick Road.
Okay, I'm just making sure that everybody remembers that you literally bought a pound of heroin.
It's neither here nor there.
And then she got like several pounds of more heroin from a monster.
She
Neither here nor
asks
there.
how skillful of murderers you are.
We
Like
made
an
this
8.
before, didn't we?
I would
I would
say
say-
we're a 9. A 9 at least.
I think if we were a 9, we wouldn't have had to run away from the dragon.
No, 10 is the dragons. Dragons are definitely a 10.
Is that the biggest possible dragon?
It was a big dragon.
What language is this argument happening in?
The second part is happening in common. The like an 8 was in South Lang.
My
When-
part's
when
in
you
common,
drops.
but it doesn't matter.
She can understand her.
The little girl says that she doesn't doubt that you're thieves and murderers, but maybe you're not particularly skillful thieves and murderers. You do seem to argue a lot. Nobody seems to be in charge. She asks, how does she know you're not lying about how good you are when it comes to
This
thieving
kid's a-
and murdering?
This kid's a brat.
Very pointedly, she's not acting like a brat. Like, she's not pouting, she's not mocking. She actually has a very prim and proper tone to her voice. Maybe it's just the language she's speaking, but she seems to be mature beyond her years.
I could
that's
give
not-
you references for the murdering, but most of them are dead. The thieving, generally, people don't find out about.
So you know that... What was it, a giant outside?
Mm-hmm.
So you know that giant outside walking
It was
around?
already dead. That's not even murder.
Well,
Look,
listen, I'm
de-animation.
just saying how skillful we are.
We took it down in two. Our group took it down in 2 blows.
And
It's not murder, though.
she tells you that she heard the crash, but she does also agree that killing an undead giant is not murder. That Daedra Daya will speak her words and the giant will walk again.
I mean, if anything, it's self-defense, so it's... What, undead
Listen, I'm taking a
slaughter?
loose interpretation of murder here.
What about the cloak things? Is killing them murder?
Yeah, what about the cloak things?
And she says it's the same thing. Daedra Daya will speak her words and the cloaks will move
She
again.
might be right. We might be really bad at murder ever since we've gotten here.
That's true. All right,
There
you
might be
got us.
nothing left to murder here.
I mean, like Birdie whispers, do we tell her about all the orcs we've killed?
No.
And like 40% of them you didn't have to even kill. You guys just love killing orcs. I think there's been like one orc NPC you haven't murdered, and it was the one that has the man harem.
All right,
No,
well,
we didn't.
Yeah,
Generally,
we were the
Yashnars.
ones at the dam.
Oh,
we
that's
left
right.
alive.
Yeah, that's the
And Yashnars.
And there's also Yashnars, but that's, you know...
you guys weren't gonna kill Yashnars. Come on.
That's time paradox.
Also, I
Generally-
specifically had a plan for if you guys just tried to murder him for no reason. So, because
I
we
wanna
can't
ask
have a
about
time
that after the
paradox.
campaign.
generally when people want to know how good we are at things, they set us a task.
And when you say that, She puts the point of her sword on the ground and rests her hands on it, the way like a sentry might with a greatsword. She says, "A quest, then. I can give you a quest to test your skills at thieving and murdering."
Sure. Do you especially need a thief and a murderer?
She says if you're a good enough thief, it will prove to her that you're a good enough murderer.
That's not how it works at all.
No,
Okay.
sure.
Red, enough. Don't argue, please.
She tells you that... I'm sorry, I have to open up my map here. It's not already open because I'm a terrible, terrible DM.
Mhm.
Yeah, just absolutely awful. Just, what am I even doing? I keep telling people that I want them to write a summary of just the crap that I put you guys through sometimes and post it on the RPG horror stories and see what the response is.
The only thing that belongs there is mummy rot.
Yeah, I mean...
that might be my
that is-
favorite from recent weeks.
It's like half our fault, though. No.
Yeah.
There was the time
yeah.
when you guys made this awesome plan to build an ice bridge across a gorge, and I blew it up before you all got across. That was
It
pretty
mostly
good.
worked.
No plan
The
survives
initiative order
contact with the
bummed
enemy.
us.
No plan survives contact with the lightning bolt.
She tells you that she does not know the passwords to get through most of the locked doors. She does know that there's no master command. Daedra Daya does not trust any of her minions or underlings with that much freedom over the keep. However,
enough.
she has overheard throughout her tenure, especially when Sir Castus is in his cups, a few of these passwords that might be helpful to you. She tells you she's going to give you a password to the basement door. She describes the charnel room that you guys have already visited.
Right.
Says this will open that door. And what she wants you to do is find some amount of treasure. Find the lady's treasury where she keeps her beautiful and valuable things. And bring something back to prove that you've been in the vaults.
Very well.
Wait. Birdie listens to them translate this, and he goes, "She didn't warn us about the meat tornado. Does that mean she's trying to get us killed by the meat tornado?"
Birdie, make an insight check.
Well, we haven't brought up the meat tornado.
I mean, it
So
might
it's
not.
probably
It probably
part of
doesn't
her-
attack people that are actually supposed to be here.
That's a 9.
A 9, okay. Do you guys ask her about the meat tornado?
No, because I'm with Red. I think it probably just attacks whoever
Yeah.
Okay.
isn't meant to be here.
I mean, Red did walk up to the door, and that's when it attacked.
And she tells you that if you're able to steal a piece of treasure from the keep's basement, it'll prove to her that you are good enough thieves. And if you're a good enough thief, you're also a good enough murderer. And if you're a good enough murderer, you may be able to help her kill Sir Castus.
Oh,
We could do that right now.
right. Especially if he's drunk.
Because here's the thing, Sir. I'm gonna turn to Red and Adrex for this one.
Okay?
Because Wendy sometimes needs a morality check from the two competing members of her party. It says, he seems like a real asshole.
Raazu nods.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he seems like someone who. I don't know. I think this far out in the middle of nowhere, there's pretty much nothing to go on. Probably, but if someone were to attack your home, Wendy, would you particularly be upset if they killed you,
Yes.
or if you killed them?
No?
Birdie
What?
raises it. Birdie raises his hand.
Yeah. Yes, Birdie.
So, maybe we should ask her why she wants us to kill this man?
Well,
is there a reason?
she's afraid that if another squire comes along, she's dead.
That's a good
So-
point. Is there a
That's a
reason we
pretty
need to kill Sir Castus? Because, I mean, if the problem is you're worried about him killing you in exchange for another squire, you could just come with us. I guarantee you, we're better at the sword than Sir Castus.
And she says that may be true, or it may not be true. She won't know until you've gone on your quest.
So it's not particularly that we have to murder Sir Castus. If we prove ourselves strong enough, you could just leave with us.
She says that she's disinclined to listen to any of your words unless you're willing to go on the quests.
That
And
sounds
she stands
fair.
very stoic in the doorway. She's taking up like a guardian position in this doorway. She's maybe a 4-foot tall little girl with
She
no
is
weapons to
though,
speak
so-
of.
Wendy's 4'8", so I mean, fair enough.
Birdie's 8 inches.
Yeah.
I am 2.5 feet tall.
All right, so she towers over one of you.
Yeah, and Wendy says, that seems fair to me. And I'll catch you guys up on it as we go.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And Red, I'll just say, I mean, if anything, we'll get the password.
Right. So what's the password to the door?
She tells you that the password to the door is Driscoll.
Briscoe?
And she says
Is that
this will not open the entire basement level, but it will open the door in the charnel room. And it should be all you need to get to the vault.
If we try to use it on a door that it does not work on, are we going to get shot with lightning?
She tells you she doesn't know the answer to that because, as far as she knows, during her tenure here at the Keep, no hero has ever made that attempt. She says if you attempt it, you would be the first.
Alright, sounds fair. We'll let you know if we get shot by lightning. Again.
She says that if you get shot by lightning, no doubt she would hear it.
That's fair. Although, I mean, I feel like you probably would have heard the other 20 times.
I mean, you've only been shot by lightning like once.
Well, yeah,
Shot
but it's
by or
still,
hit by.
it's still just as loud.
Also, it was
Raazu.
outside the keep.
Raazu sighs, starts walking downstairs.
As Raazu starts walking down the stairs, the little girl reaches back behind her neck and unties a ribbon. And she holds it in her hand and looks at the four of you for a moment before turning to Red and offering it up. And says, when embarking on a noble quest, it is fitting for the lady to offer the heroes a favor. Seeing as how you are not heroes, and I am not a lady, and you are not a shining knight, we'll have to make do. And she holds this ribbon up to you.
And Red will tie the ribbon around his arm.
And at that, she goes back to the doorway with her sword.
She goes through the doorway, or she's still guarding it?
No, she's still on this side of the door, standing in front of it.
All right. So when everybody,
Which immunities do I get from that?
Nothing. You get absolutely nothing from that. It's
No, you gain
it's
all
clean.
resistances. It's all
All
resistance. We
statuses.
know. Yeah, we know how this works.
No, if anything, this would be the ribbon from Chrono Trigger, which just is like a speed buff, I think.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Just +3 to your initiative. Okay, so when everybody else files out, Birdie's gonna toss just underhandedly, very gently toss the donkey to the little girl, and then scurry out.
Okay.
Oh, you know, murderers and thieves. Murderers and thieves.
Well,
Murder and
Adrex,
thieves.
here's the thing, though, is that dude sucks. So I would be a big fan of anything that guy sounds like he's not a fan of, too.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, if I may ask, I know the campaign's still on and it's too early to ask for any kind of evaluation, but like, what percentage of my NPCs just suck?
Honestly,
So, like,
honestly, they all
80?
seem pretty fun.
85?
A lot of them seem
Suck
pretty
in what
reasonable.
way?
Well, like, this one kidnapped an orc girl and keeps telling her...
Oh, like 85.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. A lot of these people have been really awful. Let's not mince words.
You guys would feel terrible if I had a campaign filled with awesome people that you were still supposed to kill for some reason. Like, oh, that guy opened an orphanage and He makes a really good coconut cream cake. We have to kill
No,
him.
you just throw slavers at us.
It's a curry
fine.
quest.
Listen.
Nothing gets your guys' juices flowing quite like slavery. That's true.
It's incredible, really. How we somehow all have the same morality when it comes to slavery.
You guys are. What are you talking about? I have to convince you to murder slavers half the time. We had this long, drawn-out conversation.
3 of us bumped into each other in the woods going to kill a guy.
I forgot about
Right. So you guys come down the stairs, back out into, I believe 16 was just an empty-ish room. Yeah, this is the great hall with the enormous hearth against one wall.
It's alright.
Oh God. It's better.
Did we ever find out what the deal was with this locked door?
It's the same deal as all the
Apparently
other
it has a
doors.
password.
I'll
So,
try
yeah.
it.
We just found out the deal.
And you speak the password,
Yeah.
the door does not open.
Alright. Well, not that one.
On the plus side, we found out that they don't shoot bolts of lightning if you say the wrong password.
We don't know that one's magically locked.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's locked like the other ones.
We only have a sample size of 2 here.
Bear with me 1 second.
That's fair.
I have a 10-year-old
Also-
laptop I'm trying to use Photoshop on, and sometimes it's like, man, come on. Can't I
I
just
think-
not do this?
Also, I think though that like even if you sent like nice people in front of us, we'd still find reasons to murder hobo them, because that's what PCs do.
It's possible.
Disagree.
Disagree, really? Heading down to the charnel room, which is still in a state of, let's say, disrepair.
Let's say that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
say
let's say that. Yes. Thank you. All right.
I've already checked it for traps, so you're up, Adrex. But don't go inside if this is actually a vault. I want to take a good look and make sure we're not walking into a trap on the other side of the door.
Okay, so
Right.
who's opening up this door?
I mean, Adrix
Frosty.
wanted to guess the word for the door. I wouldn't want to take this from him.
What? We know the word. Why are we making guesses?
That just makes it a really educated guess.
Oh, was that on your list, Adrex?
He's muted.
Raazu sighs, steps up to the door, and says Briscoe, and tries to pull it open.
Okay.
Sorry, is what on Adrix's list?
Briscoe. What about Crisco? Is that on Adrix's list? Probably.
Very
I thought the
nice.
girl said Driscoe.
She did.
Oh.
She said Driscoll.
Driscoe. I messed up. I mixed up your B's.
Yeah,
and D's
Briscoe is the
there.
guy in Law and Order.
It's a good show. Well, it was a good show in the 90s.
Briscoe County Jr. is a show starring. Yeah, I'm gonna just stop there.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for not continuing. Okay, you open the door, revealing the hallway beyond.
I
Alright,
bet that
Red's
works.
gonna move as quietly as he can up to that intersection.
Okay, you move up to the T-juncture. Who has a light source?
Ader says it's Famor usually.
Okay. Moving through the door, it gets very noticeably colder as you leave the warmth of room number 1 behind.
Can I see anything around the corner?
Sure can.
Bet you're sweet Pippi.
You can see into a very large room, and there's a soft glow, like an orange glow in this room, but it's difficult to tell where it's coming from. You just kind of see it shimmering from the darkness as you look down this hallway. there's also movement in the glow, like there's shadow play inside. That's a little unnerving to look at from this distance.
I'll motion to the others to stay where they are. Slip across here. Try and make my way over to this door quietly.
Okay.
Then I would like to search that door for traps.
Okay, go ahead and make that investigation check.
M is for map making. It's good enough for me.
It would be a 28.
28. The door resembles most of the other doors you've checked in this place, and the knocker on it does move smoothly. So you could pull this door open, and no, you don't see any mechanism that could be trapped.
If I take a look down this hallway.
Coming down this way and checking to the right here. Another door about 10 feet away.
Check this one for traps.
Okay.
Say 30, 34, 32.
It looks similar to the door that you just checked, but something gives you pause about this door. You don't see any mechanism by which, like, you're going to get shot with a needle or a guillotine blade's going to drop down, any of the old classics. But you feel your arms as you're reaching for your toolkit and you're about to check the big handle like you have been on these other doors. Something stops you, and you realize what it is what's emanating from on the other side of this door and focused in the metal of the handle is similar to cold, but it's different from cold in a way that can only be magical. And that's where your knowledge ends.
I'll move back to here. I'll nod to the group and point in this direction.
Okay.
And I'll make a hand gesture to Birdie for magical trap. You just can't.
I'm sure you guys have an actual gesture for that. Raazu,
Yeah, no,
are you
there's
moving
gotta
up?
there's gotta be sign language for magical trap.
Everybody
Come
who's moving
on.
past where I have the reveal marker is going to have to make a stealth check to get past that point.
Okay.
See, all right. Well, I guess I have to at this point.
You don't have to if you're not moving past that marker.
Okay, then I'm not.
Okay.
Birdie's stealth is a 31.
Yep. How do you do?
I got an 18.
Okay. And Birdie, what are you doing?
I'm going to, see if I can't find the source of the magical emanations on this door.
Make an intelligence arcana check.
That is a nat 20 plus 13, so 33.
You get the same sense from the door as Red did. At first it feels cold, which isn't necessarily out of character for this place. The whole place feels cold. You've been to several areas where it's possible this particular hallway is just warmer than what's ever beyond because you just left a room that has the magical warming curtains in it. But what you're feeling from this door, and specifically from the metal handle, isn't cold. It's something... It's necrosis. It's a type of magical cold. It's not so much the absence of heat as it is the... like an eater of heat. Like, touching this could be very, very dangerous. And thinking about it, this is exactly the kind of handle you'd put on a door that you wanted undead soldiers to be able to open freely.
Huh. Yeah, so it's coming... So I think it's coming from the handle, specifically?
You think the handle has a magical trap that would do great harm if a living thing touched it.
Right, okay. So, Birdie whispers, it's on the handle, don't touch the handle.
I'll whisper back, are you going to arm it?
You do not have the means to do this without some way to dispel magic.
Yeah. I mean, we could... I don't know. The only way I can think of to disarm this is to have Raazu touch it.
Wow.
Raazu's technically alive.
I think I know.
Technically,
what you're
it's
getting
not really
at.
my area, but I think technically
I
she is
know.
alive.
No, I got it.
That's
It was
still
just
a beautiful
really,
statement.
really mean.
It was a real dick move to say
And
that.
I'll
yeah.
I'll motion with the dagger back towards that larger.
I didn't say we should do it. I just said that's the only
I'll
thing
whisper
I could...
and I'll whisper that information as you walk past.
What about this one?
It's
Seems
open.
fine.